Wow. It seems like yesterday, and it also seems like forever ago at the same time. And it's weird that grief is like this, but today is the 6 month anniversary of my mom's passing. 6 month anniversary, I guess. September 16th, 2019, and she passed on March 16th, 2019. And at the same time, that it feels like yesterday that I was holding her hand and talking to her and giving her medication and helping her sit up and all of that. It also feels like so long ago, you know. And I don't know how my family is dealing with it, but I know that I'm struggling still. And so I am seeing a lot of counselors and going to grief group and trying to get through it as best as I can. But aside from just losing my mom, I also was a huge, I took over this huge role of caregiver. Did I have to? No. Did it help me feel closer to her? Yes. And when she was gone, did I feel lost? Yes. I can't say that my brother didn't care for her either. He did, obviously. But taking on that role, especially with how far apart I felt I was with my mom to begin with, was very difficult. I stepped away from my mom when I was younger because she wouldn't defend me as a child against other people. And most of the time that I was trying to, I guess when I was an instigator and I was trying to be helpful, it was because I thought that she needed some protection or that she needed some help. And so my issues stem from that, because when she didn't protect me as a child or as a young adult, I felt that she wasn't doing her due diligence as a parent. And so I blamed her for that a lot, whether or not that's right, who's to say? But because of that, that means that I stepped away. I took time away from my mom. I separated myself. I moved to California. And a lot of the reason was to save myself, to protect myself, to make sure that I was protecting myself. And that choice to protect myself was the best choice for me at the time. But of course, as my mom was diagnosed and got sick, I felt a lot of regret for that, because that means that was less time that I spent with her, and that was time that she had on this planet that I just didn't take advantage of. And so of course I feel regret for that, and I feel sad about that. And so that's why I really decided to throw myself into caregiver mode, because I knew that she had a death sentence. I knew that she had a limited amount of time. And I think on the 6 month anniversary, the thing I think about most is how lonely she was and how much guilt I have that I left her with that loneliness and that depression. She was depressed. As soon as we got her into the hospital, they said, she's really depressed. We're going to need to put her on these antidepressants and these anti-anxiety medications so that she doesn't have all of this anxiety and all this depression building up. And of course, if she was able to get out of the hospital and survive, I think the medications would have helped her long term. But because she wasn't able to, the medications were really there for her to be not as filled with anxiety and not have as much pain. And, depression and loneliness is a real thing, and it happens. And it's also hereditary. So, I'm very well aware of my depression and my anxiety because my mom had it her entire life. And I feel very guilty that she was alone so much. And I hope that it meant something to her that I was there the last 4 months of her life. I don't know what it's like to have somebody that you're attached to long term, to expect that person to be there for you, to love you unconditionally, and to support you in all ways. But I know that she did not feel that she had that. And I hope that I was able to make up for some of it. This also makes me think about like my life and living my best life and making sure that I have somebody that I could trust, that I could put time into, that will love me unconditionally and support me and also be there for me when I'm dying alone, because everybody dies alone. It's a really lonely process. But I hope that since I was the only one in the room with her when I said that I'm sorry, that she was so lonely and so depressed, and then she stopped breathing, I'm hoping that that meant something, that I was there for her as much as I could be in that time. And I hope that that for her was her acknowledging, yes, I've let go of everything that I can, and this world is now ready to be without me. And even though we aren't, as individuals, ready to be without her, I hope that she has no regrets. I hope that she's at peace. And I'm on dating profiles now because my therapist said it would be good for me. And also, I don't know, like, it's made me think a lot about death. And do I want to die completely alone, or do I want to have somebody that I can sort of trust and be behind me? I don't know. There's a lot to think about there, but that's pretty much it. 6 months without my mom, and I can't imagine the rest of my life like this, but one day at a time. One day at a time.